From SF Land, this is Dorking Out, a podcast for people who love to dork out about movies, TV, and everything pop culture.
Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and what was that? I'm scared to close my eyes. I'm scared to open them. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margo D. Hello, my friend.
Hey, my friend, if I don't make it through this recording, please tell my spin students that I love teaching them.
What's that noise? It's Margo's spin playlist. I can hear it. It's coming from that house.
What the fuck is that? No, but what the fuck is that?
We are dorking out about 1999's The Blair Witch Project, which is 20 years old this year.
Oh my God, and I saw it in the movie theater.
I did too. I want to hear, tell me what it was like when you saw it in the theater, because I kind of have a theater story.
Why don't you go first? I have an ambulance going by.
They're coming for you, Margo. So I saw this in the theater with some friends, and I knew that it was not real. I had read about it in like my Entertainment Weekly or something, and I knew it was like a big thing at Sundance. But a lot of people in the theater I saw it in did not know that it was not real. And so when the movie was over, there were some people who were visibly shaken, and there was a woman behind me sobbing.
Oh my God.
And she was just like, I can't believe that really happened to someone. And I was like, because I'm a dick. Like, I could just turn around and tell it's not real. But she's like with her friends, and I was like, surely her friends are going to give her the news that it's not real. But I don't know if they did. But also, some people in my theater got so nauseous that they had to leave.
Wow. So I think I saw it at the Angelica in New York, which is one of those hoity-toity theaters. Mm-hmm. And it was the same weekend that they released the Stanley Kubrick movie with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. I'm forgetting the name of that damn thing. Thank you. And I'd seen that, and I thought it sucked. But everybody else in the movie theater loved it. And then so I was nervous about going to see this movie, but I actually found it very enjoyable. Nobody believed it was real, and a few people did get sick. But I think especially the last, I say like 20 minutes really works. That still holds up.
So when I saw it, even though I knew it was fake, I thought it was super, super scary. I was really, really scared. My sister and I were sharing an apartment together at that time, and we saw it together, and we were both so scared that we went home and we slept with like our bedroom doors open so that we could see each other because we were so scared. And then in the middle of the night, like someone's car alarm was going off, and we were like, it could be our car, but I'm not going out there. You going out? Fuck that. And like pillows over our head. We were terrified. And like some of our other friends were super terrified. We were all really, really scared. And I think I'd seen it like one more time, maybe on video.
Same here.
And I was very curious about this rewatch. Like, would I still think it was scary? And I really didn't until the end. Like you said, those last like 20 minutes.
It makes up for that first half an hour, which is kind of a bit of a snore. I had to really fight the urge to not check my phone.
Oh, and same.
Yeah, I thought it was just really boring, and it's supposed to be. I mean, it's just about these three college students.
Yes.
Kind of pretentious, putting a film together, going out in the woods, and they're talking to people, and it's nobody's a real professional actor.
Yeah.
So the level of the acting is a little whatever. At the beginning.
Yeah,
but once they start getting lost, I really enjoy it.
Yeah. I just felt like it was because the movie's like 81 minutes long. So I was like, okay, it's like an hour of people yelling at each other and then like 20 minutes of like really good stuff. So for people who don't know.
Yes, please.
Which I don't know why you're listening to this episode if you don't know. But The Blair Witch, which came out in 1999, was kind of one of the first like found footage horror movies. I think there was one, I read that there was one more before this called like Cannibal Holocaust. I didn't see that. and it came out in like 1980. But this one was kind of the one like before like Paranormal Activity, before Cloverfield, like there was the Blair Witch. And the idea is that these three students are going into the woods in Maryland, and they're doing a documentary about this fictional legend called the Blair Witch, and that they never returned. And a year later, they find this footage and they put it together, and all these creepy things happen. But the behind the scenes stuff is what like was super interesting, because first of all, this was like a movie that went viral before viral was a thing. So
yep. We didn't have a word for it then.
Yeah, they marketed really, really smart. This was like early internet, so they created a website, but they didn't say. At no point did they say it's fiction. They say it's real, and they had like they premiered at Sundance, and they put up like missing posters for the actors, you know, and they're unknown actors. So if you went to their IMDb, they were listed as deceased. Like it was
wow. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it was really, really crazy. And for behind the scenes, they had a budget of $60,000. The movie made almost $250 million. It's pretty insane.
Did they ever pay the actors properly for that? Do we know?
You know, I don't know, actually.
I wonder though. Yeah, because I wonder if they put them through hell.
They really did.
And you really do care about them by the end, Heather and Josh and Michael. You really do. You hope they're okay. You feel bad for them.
Yeah.
I mean, they become very real. And of course, they're using their real names, which is part of what's making it so weird. Right. But I wondered too, like, did they get any of that? I mean, I don't know.
No, I don't know either. The movie is written and directed by Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez. And what they did was they did a casting call. They picked these three actors. It's Heather Donahue, Michael C. Williams, and Joshua Leonard. And they just put them in the forest in the middle of nowhere with like kind of a vague outline of a story. And they improvised a lot. And then they would just fuck with them. And they would film it. And then I guess they had like over 90 hours of footage, and they cut it down to 81 minutes, which is pretty impressive. But they like put them, they kind of like restricted their food and it was cold, and you feel bad. You know, the actors went through some shit when they saw it.
And they look miserable. They look, especially the one where they're lost.
Yeah.
When they wind up in a circle and she sees that's when I started getting scared in the movie theater. But I was just like, oh my God, they're stuck in these woods forever. They're just going to starve to death.
Yeah.
It's just not going to let them out. And these poor actors.
I felt bad for them. The other thing about that was kind of, I think there were a lot of reasons why the movie kind of clicked at the time, but also this is when reality TV was getting really huge. So we had like Survivor and Real World and Cops, and I think American Idol started around there, but that's not that kind of reality. But you know what I mean? Like, this was becoming a thing. And this is before, like, this is before we all had phones. So there's, like, they're carrying around, like, real, like, video cameras and film cameras and things like that. It's very, very much of its time. It's super 90s. Like,
yeah, it's very dated. Like, when you see the cameras now, it's like they look so heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And the footage is so grainy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not high def.
No, and they look so 90s. Like, they're wearing like grungy flannels, and like she's got these like really overplucked eyebrows and stuff.
Yes.
It's super 90s.
Yeah. God.
Which is fine. It's fine. It was the time. It was the time. But I was so scared when I saw this the first time, and this time I was, like you said, it was very similar to reaction where I was like, I'm trying not to look at my phone. I'm trying to pay attention. And then it gets really good. The end is it ramps up at the end. Let me ask you, did you see any of the sequels?
No. Did you?
No.
I had no interest because it didn't need more money. That's not what the movie needed. Do you know what I mean? And so that's always the mistake they make with these things, is that they throw a lot of money at the sequel, and that loses its charm. Right. I think the part of the charm was that it was kind of cheap and janky, and put together. by a bunch of broke people.
Yeah.
I think that's what part of like why we care about them and why we we can relate to them.
The second one isn't even like the fake documentary style. I think it's a full-on narrative movie.
Of the witch?
Yeah. Well, I think it's about some other people who somehow come across the Blair Witch. I didn't see it. I don't know. It didn't look good to me, so I never saw it. And then the third one is supposed to be Heather Donahue's brother, and he's like going into the forest to find out what happened to his sister. And I think that one's found footage too, but I didn't see it, so I don't know.
No.
I can't speak to those.
No. So the kids go into the woods, and does Josh disappear first?
Yeah. Well, so there's I think they're supposed to go in for 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
And the first night is pretty uneventful, and then after that, every night it seems to get progressively worse. Like they start hearing noises, and then in the morning they're finding like piles of rocks or weird crosses made out of sticks and stuff like that. And then at some point, like Josh disappears in the middle of the night.
And that's when it really ramps up.
Yeah.
And because they're looking for Josh. And so they're, it's a lot of screaming, Josh, where are you?
It reminded me of the Lost Boys. Michael!
Yeah, Michael. It's Josh. And then they go to the house. And then the whole thing is the house really scares the crap out of me still.
Totally scares the crap out of me with the little handprints all over the wall. Ooh.
Oh, yeah. And then he's standing in the corner.
Yeah.
At the very last shot. It's really does hold up. I mean, yeah, it's a pile of twigs that they're afraid of. Sure, you can make that argument.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I found it really effective. I liked it a lot more than that Stanley Kubrick movie that I can't even remember that everyone thinks is a classic.
We should put that movie on our list and talk
Please.
about it. And
yeah.
I was going to mention this around the end of the show, but in November, we want to do some 90s in November. So maybe we should do Eyes Wide Shut in November.
Yeah. Well,
It's
yeah,
not
you guys
right.
give us your ideas.
Yeah, we're looking for 90s recommendations. Send it our way. I like that this movie it really is like your imagination is the scariest thing ever. So it's like you fill in the blanks. It's like,
yeah, there's no CGI.
Yeah, there's no CGI, but it's also like, well, how scary do you think a pile of rocks is? Like,
yeah,
it's in theory, it's not very scary, but if you start, I don't know, filling in your own story, then it's super creepy. Like the first night they spend the night there, they find like 7 piles of rocks, and it's like 7 kids were killed by the Blair Witch. And then later they find 3 more piles of rocks. So there's 3 of them, it's like that sort of thing.
And it looks like a rabbit's heart or something in there. Like it's a piece of meat in the thing that she finds.
She finds like a bundle of sticks, and it's tied up with parts of Josh's flannel.
Oh, that's right.
And then there's like blood in there, and I think there's some teeth.
Yeah.
It's so
and
gross.
It's so that I screamed too. I remember in the movie theater. I thought that really freaked me out.
And all the parts where they're like running at night and you can only see like where the flashlight sees, that stuff in the theater super terrified me. Because I was afraid that you really were going to see something and you wouldn't be able to unsee it. I don't know. It really, really scared me. It didn't scare me this time.
No.
And it could be, I'm here, I'm comfortable, I'm watching it on my couch, my kid's in the other room, like screwing around on an iPad. It doesn't make for a very spooky environment. So maybe that's part of why it didn't hold up for me as much. But like you said, that last 20 minutes though is rock solid.
Oh yeah, I was actually kind of worried at first because I was so bored. Like the first third of the movie, I was like, I don't know if this is gonna be worthwhile. And then once it gets going, it just really takes off. And it's hard to explain to people if you weren't around there, if you don't remember 20 years ago. But this was a huge hit, and everybody was talking about it.
Yeah, it was massive. And they had that website, and it had the the legend of the Blair Witch on it. It had like fake police files on it. It had all this stuff. I remember my sister going to the website and like reading everything on it, and I was like, it's not real.
But they had all this extra footage,
yeah,
and so that was brilliant.
Yeah, you wanted to see the extra stuff, and you wanted to, I don't know, solve it, even though you weren't going to solve it because it wasn't real. It's a very interesting movie. It doesn't hold up to like repeat viewings. It's not the kind of movie where I'm like I almost said Thanksgiving. Every Thanksgiving I watch the Blair Witch.
The twigs.
Yeah, the family, we all gather around. We watch the Blair Witch and we all yell, Josh, Josh. No. It's not that kind of movie. It's not the kind that like every Halloween I'm like, let's watch the Blair Witch. Like I don't see myself watching it again anytime soon.
No, nor will I.
But if other people haven't seen it, I think it's worth watching for sure.
Oh, it's a total slice of like late 90s for sure. And it's interesting just like what was the world like then and how something like this could just take. And like you said, people, like half the people who went didn't realize it wasn't true.
Yeah.
Like they thought they were watching some kind of a documentary.
Isn't that crazy?
Which is crazy because if the police would be on top of it if this was the case, I mean, Dateline NBC would be there. I mean, it would be a big deal. But
how did I not ever hear of this story before? Because it wasn't real. It's not real.
It didn't happen.
But there were, like I said, there were a few people in the theater they didn't know. But the one woman in particular, like sobbing, she was so scared.
Aww.
So scared. I felt bad for her. I also laughed at her, but I hope her friends told her. I hope her friends told her the truth.
She's an empath. Okay.
Yeah. Poor thing. Oh gosh. And they really do nothing. Like they do a lot with a whole lot of nothing. Like we said, the rocks, the sticks, creepy voices at night.
In the woods, it's dark. And they have like the night goggles or whatever. So you really can't see. You're not sure what you're seeing. And that adds to it. And I think the actors are really good. I like Heather Donahue. I think she's really good.
I think she's really good too. And she's actually, out of all of them, probably giving like a real performance.
Yeah.
And I mean that as a compliment, not in a... I feel like Josh and Michael, like, they switch back and forth. Like, I'm the angry one. No, I'm the angry one.
Right.
And so you don't get, like, a real sense of character from those dudes. But she is consistent throughout. Like, she has a certain point of view, and you understand it. And I like her, actually. I like her a lot.
Yeah, I mean, she starts a little pretentious. She's filming the intros and stuff like that, but which is what film students do.
Totally.
I had friends that were film students, and they were the same goddamn way.
Yeah.
Very precious about what they were doing. Mm-hmm. And then gradually, as she's getting more and more scared, she's becoming the real person that she is. And that's when she gives a very tearful, the snot running down her nose kind of thing, saying, I'm so sorry, Mom and Dad, and all that crap. It's just... Yeah, she's very, very believable. I was surprised she was in a series I loved called Taken, which was
I loved it too.
Wasn't it the best?
It was so good. If you guys haven't seen Taken, you should watch it. It was really, really, really good.
I think it's on Amazon. I think you can stream it. It was a Steven Spielberg show.
Yeah, and it was like on the Sci-Fi Channel or something.
Yeah, and Dakota Fanning when she was little, she's on there, and Heather Donahue's there, and she's really good. Yeah, I think she's a CBD grower now, or she's,
I looked everyone up just to see what they were doing now. And so it says that she is a pot grower and that she actually wrote a book called Grow Girl. And apparently she's pitched some sort of TV series like based on her life, like the idea of the former actress turned pot grower. And I was like, totally, I'd watch one episode of that for sure.
They should put it on the Sci-Fi Channel. Are you kidding?
Why
or
not?
Shudder.
And then I looked up Michael C. Williams, and he hasn't done much at all. He's done like some guest roles on Law and Order and Without a Trace, so like crime procedural dramas. And then he manages a theater in New York, though, called the Big Blue Door Theater.
I don't know that one.
Mm-hmm. And then Joshua Leonard actually seems to have had the most success. He did like a bunch of movies called like Madhouse, Higher Ground, The Town That Dreaded Sundown, which I've actually heard of. And he's married to Allison Pill. Do you know who that is?
Yeah,
I
know her.
Yeah, she was in Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and she was in The Newsroom on HBO, which I didn't watch, but...
Oh, Aaron Sorkin's Newsroom?
Yeah.
It's very Sorkin.
I couldn't get on board with that one. I really like Sports Center, and I super love The West Wing, but I watched like 2 episodes of The Newsroom, and I was like, that's enough for me.
Yeah.
It was like armchair quarterbacking the news. Like,
it's also like about a bunch, all the women were dumb.
Yeah.
And needed a talking to by Jeff Daniels, who had to explain everything to everybody. Which is like...
Yeah. No.
Anyway.
Pass. But good for him. He's actually working and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
But they didn't go on to like the really big things that you maybe thought they were going to go on to. Let me ask you, do you ever go camping?
I did when I was a kid, but I don't now, no. And it's not fun for me.
You see? Exactly the same. My family was really into roughing it when I was a kid. And like, as soon as I was old enough to stop going, I was like, I'm not doing that. I don't want to go.
Here.
Please don't make me go. And so they would all go camping, and I would spend the weekend like alone in the house, like 14 years old, home alone. And
Same here.
I would take the money that Mom left me to buy food, and I would go to the video outlet and rent movies. Because I'm a total goober. Like,
you and I are the same person.
I swear to God.
I would do the same damn thing. And I started like 15 or 16. I think maybe it's 15. I started working at a fast food place to avoid 2 things, camping and going to church.
Yeah.
I had to work every weekend. I was totally okay with it.
If my parents,
and I got away with it.
Yeah, if my parents had wanted me to get a job earlier, they should have said, like, if you don't get a job, you're going to have to go to church or go camping every weekend. And I would be like, I'll get a job.
That's what I did. And it's funny because my parents are both New Yorkers, but my dad knew how to clean a fish.
Yeah.
And they're both really good. They did offshore fishing. And we would go to Cape Cod. It was actually fun, but we would stay near the beach with a really rough kind of house that was going to fall on top of itself. And my parents would leave like 2 a.m. and fish all night.
Oh my gosh.
And then, and they'd bring huge fish back, and then they come home, and then we were maniacs. Like, they would just pass out and fall asleep. So we would run around the beach all day.
Oh.
And then, it was the best. But like that I liked, that and lobster and the fishing. But whenever we had to go to like the Catskills or something, it was in a trailer,
Yeah, we didn't even do that.
Sink.
We were like, here's a tent, here's a sleeping bag. Can I have a mattress under my sleeping bag? No. Like, here's your sleeping bag. Like, really roughing it. Like, shit in the woods, cook on the fire.
And I'm an insomniac. So I don't do well. I mean, if I'm not in my bed, I have a problem anyway. I've always been this way.
Yeah.
But if I'm someplace where all I hear are crickets or animals and that's it, I'm terrified and I'm not going to fall asleep.
I just don't like to be dirty.
No, it sucks.
No. And I
and
really
brushing
like
your teeth and the cabin thing, where you get no, thank you.
I just like a bed.
No.
A hotel is roughing it for me. It really is. Because I was like, it's roughing it because not all my stuff is here.
No, it's a smaller version of my apartment with none of my favorite things and worse cable. That's roughing it for me.
Much worse cable.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't have Bravo. It sucks. Yeah.
No,
that's me.
It. Yeah. We're the same. We are the same person.
We are the same person.
What do you think you would do in this situation? Would you kick the map into the creek? No.
No. No, that's a very frustrating moment. Yeah. I think those 2 guys, they would drive me crazy in no time.
Right.
Yeah. But I don't really question their decisions. I mean, I think they're doing the best they can with what they know.
Yeah.
It's a very short period of time that everything kind of spirals out of control. But I'm always like wondering, like, what the hell really happens once they get there? Like, what, how does it end? But
it's true.
Yeah.
I don't I don't know if I would do anything differently, to be honest. Part of me is like, I'd ditch those guys, but I totally wouldn't.
Then you'd be alone.
I'd be alone, exactly. I would. I feel bad for her because they really are ganging up on her at one point, and I was like, and she's trying to be like, I'm really tough and I'm in charge, and it's not working out.
It's also, once again, women, we take on the emotional labor. Yeah. We're going to make everything okay. It's not so bad. We're going to figure it out. You know, she's trying to keep professional so she doesn't get freaked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't work out for her, needless to
say.
What else should we say about the Blair Witch? I don't think either of us are going to visit it again anytime soon.
No, I'm glad I saw it. It did bring back some memories.
Yeah.
And I do think if you've never seen it before, you should check it out. It's one of those interesting moments in movie history.
For sure. I think that's a really good way to describe it.
Yeah.
Did you watch Paranormal Activity?
I've seen a couple of them.
I saw the first one. Even David watched it with me. He was feeling brave, I guess.
I think the first and the third one, I think, are the ones that I saw, and they were pretty scary.
Yeah, I thought the first one was actually pretty scary. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too.
I thought that one was all right. And then Cloverfield was pretty good too, but
it was too jumpy.
It was pretty jumpy.
Yeah.
But I don't know if found footage is my jam. I don't know.
It's very hard to pull it off, I think. Yeah, I think it's tricky.
Too. Do you want to hear about some of the other movies of 1999?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I think we've already done like top 10, so I just went in and picked some good ones. Or, well, ones that might be fun to acknowledge.
Okay.
Let me rephrase that. So you already mentioned Eyes Wide Shut, which you really hate.
I've seen it twice. I mean, I could be wrong. It's been a long time. I like Kubrick, but I just remember being really irritated by it.
We should definitely put that one on the list because I don't think I've seen it since the theater. So that might be a fun revisit. Speaking of fun, She's All That.
Such a good movie.
Oh, God. That movie made me laugh. Varsity Blues.
Oh, that's a weird movie.
Such a weird movie.
Very strange, weird politics in that movie.
10 Things I Hate About You.
Great movie.
I haven't seen that one since the theater either.
Such a good movie.
I think I would like to revisit that one. Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Of course, yes.
That was a huge hit. South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut.
Yes, very good.
Super funny.
Very funny.
Runaway Bride.
Oh, God, Julia Roberts. That was one of the ones that I was like, what? I guess she really likes Richard Gere.
I guess.
Because there's another point where, like, I think her character's a total asshole, but everybody just puts up with her because she's so charming.
This is the same year that Notting Hill came out.
And I hated that one too.
Yeah.
I'm a weirdo. I'm a total weirdo.
I don't think you're a weirdo. Julia Roberts can really rub me the wrong way.
Same here. I find like this is another character in Notting Hill. Like the actress that she plays is such an angry, mean person.
Yeah.
And there's a whole scene where she like yells at Hugh Grant and tells him like, "You can't let people know about us. I've got a boyfriend." I'm like, wait a second, what? Like, I don't know. I just find her all over the place.
She is undeserving
of Hugh Grant in that movie.
Adorable Hugh Grant in that movie.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. Yeah.
I think she gets by a lot on her smile and like
charisma.
And she does a lot of like, isn't it cute? I'm so cute, you guys, or I'm so precious. She does it when she's presenting awards and stuff too. So I'm like, oh, shut up, Julia Roberts. Did
you remember the Academy Awards where she came out and she goes to the microphone? She just looks into the microphone. She's about to present an award. I just saw Sidney Poitier. I'm like, fuck off and just read the prompter.
You.
It's not about you. I mean, good God.
She is a movie star for sure. And like she has done movies that I like, but if she doesn't have like the right director or something, they need to keep her in check, man, or I don't like her.
Soderbergh did a really good job with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, Erin Brockovich, she's really good. Like she's a great actress. It's just that anyway, we could do a Julia Roberts show sometime.
We absolutely should.
Yeah.
Other 99 movies. Three Kings, the one with...
I never enjoyed that movie. Did you?
I really liked it at the time. I would be curious to revisit.
Yeah, probably should.
You know what? I'm thinking I should have flipped this list around a little bit because now I'm ending on the biggest bummers.
Oh, no, what?
Boys Don't Cry.
Oh, God. That's a movie. I got so upset. I ran out of the theater.
It is so sad. It is so upsetting.
Yeah, the Brandon Tina story. Yeah, I had to leave.
Yeah, it was so... It's because it's so amazingly well done that it's so upsetting. And Hilary Swank is really,
excellent.
really amazing in it. And there was I think a documentary came out that same year too about the same story. It was everywhere and it was really sad. And then just to keep the bummer train rolling, Girl Interrupted.
Oh yeah.
Also came out in 99.
Yeah, Margo and I covered that for Book versus Movie.
Yeah.
It's a good cast.
Yeah, good cast. Angelina Jolie steals the whole movie. Poor Winona Ryder.
Winona Ryder bought that book.
Yeah.
She produced that movie, and she made the greatest thing she did and the dumbest thing she did is she hired Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
Because Angelina Jolie eats up the screen.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody, Winona's performance looked so small in comparison.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Winona Ryder thought it was going to be her Oscar.
Oh yeah,
movie.
She did.
She was this is my moment, and it's like, oops.
Oh, you see what all the shows, because she won, Angelina Jolie, she won she was Academy Awards and the Golden Globes and SAG Awards, all of them. And Winona Ryder was just sitting at the table, whatever, just with a stink face on, you have got to be kidding me.
She picked the wrong role. Maybe she should have picked the other role. But
I have a feeling Angelina Jolie would have stolen it from her anyway.
Yeah.
Even if they switched, yeah.
She's that kind of person.
She really is.
I should say that kind of actress. Well, and that kind of person. She'll take your man too.
Yeah. A woman, that's my friend Erin always says, a woman who doesn't have girlfriends is somebody you don't want to get close to.
Yeah. Valid point.
Yeah.
And I just want to remind everybody that, like I said, we're doing the 90s in November. So send us your picks and we'll try to get it in there. We're going to pick 4 movies for November, all 90s.
So do you want to hear about 90 songs, 99 songs?
I sure do.
So I picked out a few that I thought were interesting. Living La Vida Loca, Ricky Martin.
God, that song was huge.
Everywhere. He was huge and nobody knew he was gay. It's so funny now, because he's married with 4 kids or something. And I
don't know if it was terribly surprising to me to find out he was.
I remember an email chain between me and 20 other people, and it was whether or not he's gay. And it was all the gossip was we had a role on Broadway and he had a boyfriend every day. I don't know.
Yeah.
People were very silly then. And an email chain.
Now
you get them at work.
Now it'd be a text thing.
It's a text chain. I Want It That Way, the Backstreet Boys.
I still
like that song. Yeah. Genie in a Bottle, Christina Aguilera.
Good song.
Great song. My Name Is by Eminem.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah. Mambo Number 5, Lou Bega.
Damn you for bringing that up, because now it's going to be in my head.
Stuck in your goddamn head all day.
I'm not going to be able to get rid of it.
And my last one is Destiny's Child, Say My Name.
That song is rad.
Dope. Yeah.
Dope, rad.
Dope and rad.
Dope and rad. That's the name of Margo and I's other podcast, Dope and Rad. Tune in next week for Dope and Rad, where we just list songs that we like. Where can people... Oh, no. We're not done yet. What else are you dorking out about, Margo?
Oh, I just got into the show. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's on Netflix. It's called The Great British Bake Off.
No, I've never heard of it. What? What is it? Is it a singing competition show or dating show?
It's just baking. and it's just people in a tent baking and being really loving and supportive of one another. And it's set in England, and it's very British. And the new season just came out, and Netflix is doing it week to week. I was hoping to binge it.
You can binge the early seasons for sure.
Yeah. Well, I seen all those because my mother watched them nonstop when I was taking care of my mom. So anyway, the season is really excellent, and I'm super, super enjoying it. And that's what I'm dorking out about.
I love the Great British Baking Show. It is. I'm pretty sure I've talked about it countless times on the show. It's like my favorite thing. We all lose our mind here in the house for the Great British Baking Show. And last season's runner-up has a new book out, a cookbook. It's like the Joy. Her name was Kim Joy. She was my favorite, of course, because everything she baked was super adorable. She was all cats and foxes and.
Oh, I gotta see that. Yeah. I gotta look at that.
I forget the title of her book, but if it's not about like the joy of baking, I don't even know what the fuck she's doing. That's obviously what it should be called. But I hear it's really, really great, and that there's some vegan recipes in it, so I'm gonna have to get it. So the other night, instead of going to see Joker, which I'm probably not going to see, but everyone keeps asking me if I've seen it, I went and saw Hustlers.
What did you think?
I really liked it. It's very, first of all, J-Lo is really, really great in it. She's really great. She hasn't made a movie I wanted to see in a long time. So I was happy to like see a movie with J-Lo. She's 50 years old. She looks amazing. She looks amazing. And she does all this like pole dancing and stuff, and she looks fucking great doing it, and it shows like how much work that is. It's not like, oh, then you just swing around on the pole. Like, it's fucking hard what they're doing. And anyway, she's really, really great in it. There's some it's based on a true story, and it's kind of fun to watch because the whole thing is that these exotic dancers are like robbing stockbrokers, like rich assy white guys, basically. And you're like, fuck them, you know. So like you feel like a little bit like it's a victimless crime, so you're kind of enjoying the ride for a little while. And then in the like third the third act, it kind of changes a little bit, and I wasn't really on board with the change in tone, and I was like, well, this isn't as fun.
Yeah, you like the fun part.
Yeah, I like the fun part. And then at a certain point, there's a part where like one of the victims like goes to the police, and then the police get involved, and that's fine. Like that's what happened, and that's part of the story. But I think they needed like just a couple of scenes to help get us there. It's very sudden. It's just like out of nowhere, and I'm like, it's missing like 2 scenes, I think, that would have just made it flow a little nicer for me. But I actually really liked it. And like I said, J-Lo is really fucking great in it.
I saw her in person once.
Is she little?
She's tiny. At the Glamour Women of the Year Awards, I worked the backstage with the media. And she came to the media tent, and all of a sudden, like a hush came over the room. Like she just has so much, once again, charisma.
Yeah.
Like she just and her skin, I swear to you just want to go and touch it. I know she'd punch me if I tried, but she's so goddamn beautiful.
Yeah.
Just she's breathtaking.
She is gorgeous in this movie. She's really, really beautiful.
She works hard for it.
Yeah. That's the thing too. You know she works hard for it. There's some other people in the cast too. Constance Wu from Crazy Rich Asians is in it. Cardi B is in it. Lizzo's in there for a little while. And everyone I saw it at the Alamo Draft House when Lizzo showed up. Like the whole theater was like, "It's Lizzo!" Like, it was pretty much all it's all women in the audience, pretty much, and like women, we all love Lizzo. We all do. So like the minute she showed up, we were like, it's Lizzo. Like everyone got all giddy. Also, the Alamo was showing Lizzo videos before the movie started. So
which is smart. And you know what? I think like Saturday Night Live, they didn't get Lizzo on their show. I think that's so dumb. I think she should have I think she would have done bigger numbers than Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I'm saying that. Lizzo is having a moment.
She is definitely. Her songs from like 3 years ago are back on the charts. She's insanely popular. And I get to go see her in like 2 weeks. And
I'm so jealous because I've been seeing, she's really great on Twitter too.
Yeah.
Like she's a nice spot on Twitter. And she just like, sometimes she's topless and she's posting and just like, hi, how you doing? She's so adorable. I just like everybody drink. It's just,
She's so great. I just super love her. And I've ordered a shirt that says 100% that bitch. So I will be there like everyone else.
Well, I have to ask you. So I've been dorking out about the Demi Moore book, Inside Out. It's her biography. Really good book. I wish she talked more about her movies. I mean, she's a very serious person, but she did a movie called Striptease. Do you remember this?
Yes.
And it was with Burt Reynolds.
Yes.
And Robert Patrick and her daughter was in there. And it was a big deal because she got like $12 million for it. And she was topless. She's always been okay with showing her body. It was so interesting because she was on Howard Stern this week talking about that movie. And Howard said, were you ever self-conscious about it? And she goes, the only time I got really self-conscious was when David Letterman used to do the top 10 lists when he had his late night show. And one night for promotion, she went out there in a bikini and had the top 10 list like kind of taped all over her body. And it was kind of a joke. And she said, once she got there, she kind of realized like, oh, I'm kind of parading myself like a piece of meat right now. Like, are people they're not going to really get what I'm trying to do with the movie. So she just kind of had to go along with it, which I never thought about. I remember when she did it. But it's so interesting. Like there's a movie about strippers you went to see and how we think of strippers now versus how we thought of strippers then.
For sure. The women in Hustlers are all like, I'm going to make that dollar. Like that's their whole thing. And they are kind of all portrayed as like really, I guess I'm trying to think, empowered. I guess they're doing it for the money though. Like they're in like shitty financial situations and that's why they're doing it. But none of them are like, I don't want to be doing this. They're all like, yeah, they're into it. I
can't wait to see it.
There's a really great part where, Usher comes into the club basically. And all the girls like, are like, Usher's there. Like, it's really, really well done. I'm not going to say anything more about it because it's just really, really awesome part. What else we should put a Demi Moore movie on our 90s list.
I was thinking of Ghost. I haven't seen that in a long time.
We could totally do Ghost.
I would love to talk about Ghost because I just love that movie.
That's great. We should put Ghost on there. I was going to say like Indecent Proposal or Disclosure or something, but Ghost is way more fun. Let's do Ghost.
Okay.
Also Patrick Swayze.
Oh, and Whoopi's really good in it. Whoopi Goldberg is hilarious in the movie.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be a good time to remind ourselves that Whoopi Goldberg used to be really awesome at movies. Before
she was on The View. Yeah, before she went on The View and became crazy and defending people like Roman Polanski and Bill Cosby, needing like 50 women to come forward before she thought about it.
Right.
Whoopi has her. But she's going to play Mother Abigail in The Stand. And for all, I think she can really kill that part. I think she can do a great job with it. So
I think so too.
But it'd be fun to see her. And this is the one she won the Oscar for. And it was one of those movies, like, I forgot that it got really bad reviews at the time.
Did it?
And and it was a massive hit. And it set her career on fire. Patrick Swayze had like a whole renaissance. Like, and it's also New York in the 90s, early 90s, which was different.
Demi Moore looked beautiful in it. And she had the most, everyone drink, adorable pixie cut. Yeah.
And they were mad at her because she had really long hair. And she decided Molly was an artist and she was into pottery. And she goes, there are going to be all these scenes with Patrick where he comes behind me. There's a very sexy scene. Well, we'll talk about it when we talk about the movie. Never mind.
Yeah.
Let's save it. Saving the gossip. Saving the gossip there.
In that. Margo, where can people find you?
You can find me on social media at Brooklyn Fit Chick, and that's for Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And my blog is brooklynfitchick.com.
And you can find Dorking Out at dorkingout.com and Dorking Out Show on Twitter and sometimes Facebook. But Facebook. You can find me at The Sonia Show on Twitter and hardly never on Facebook, so don't bother. Or you can find me at thesoniashow.com. And I'm so glad that we got to talk about the Blair Witch. I actually think this was super fun, even if I wasn't as scared as I wanted to be.
It held up.
In the last 20
Somewhat.
minutes. Somewhat.
Somewhat.
What the fuck is that?